Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please, if you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. So the first thing to do is to clean the face to remove any hidden dirt. As you can see, I was cleaning her face using my Adventure my Style cleansing water. So with the aid of my flat face prep brush, which I use to apply my Mismetic moisturizer. So after moisturizing the skin, after applying your moisturizer, make sure you spread the uniformly all over the face. Then at this point, I was just trying to use my hand to massage it. So for primer, I use my Stay Matte primer, which I applied around the area which produces oil. Can you see? Then I use my flat brush again to press in everything. Right, so I just spread the primer all over her face except the under eye. Then I sealed it with my Kiss Beauty setting spray. So foundation, I mixed the V Beauty foundation, the one in the short bottle and the long bottle, to get her required skin tone. Then to blend, I use my CPD beauty sponge. I made it to be damp. When I said I made it to be damp, I made it to be wet, but when you press the water shouldn't come out from there for easy blending. So for contour, I still use my same V Beauty foundation, but the shade which is 2 shades darker than her skin. So we contour around the temple, the under of the cheekbone, that's underneath the cheekbone, right? Can you see the way I'm placing it here? That's the temple. And when I'm blending, I place my beauty sponge in such a way that as I'm blending, it's getting rid of any harsh line, right? So for blush, I use my orange shade from my 3D exclusive blush palette. So we apply the blush on the cheek. Thus, we are blending from the upper of the cheek, moving towards the temple. Can you see the way I'm doing it here? That's exactly how you should do it. So after that, I use my Adventure concealer, which is 2 shades lighter than her skin, 2 to 3 shades lighter than her skin. So I apply it under the eye to highlight that area, the cheek, the under the eye, the bridge of her nose, the chin, and the forehead. Then around the outer corner of the eye, I use my Avon concealer, which is 1 shade lighter than her skin. The reason why I'm using the one lighter than her, the 1 shade lighter towards the outer corner, is because I don't want that I don't want any harsh line around that area, and actually the highlighted area, which is the under eye, that's where I apply the lighter one, because that's the area we want to be highlighted. Then I use my same beauty sponge again in blending the concealer, but this time I'm using the clean section, because I didn't mean I use the section I use in blending the blush. It will just change the color, right? So as I'm blending again, after I'm blending, I just turn the clean side and place on the line separating the blush and the concealer. Yes, can you see at this point? Such that I'll blend any harsh line. Then I went to the nose, blended it around that area. So after blending thoroughly, you stand and check to see if there is harsh line again. So when you are done blending on the forehead, still place the middle of your beauty sponge on the line separating the concealer and the contour, such that you blend, take care of the harsh line. Then to contour her nose again, I use the same foundation I used in contouring the other section of her face with the aid of my small fluffy brush. After applying the contour, then I use the side of my beauty sponge to blend to enable any harshness is taken care of. So after thorough blending, I use my Kiss Beauty setting spray to melt down everything. So for highlighter, I'm going in with my to set the face, sorry, I'm going in with my Mirac setting powder in the shade Ginger. So we are setting all the highlighted area. So when setting the face, you're using the same shade of setting powder, like the same shade you use for the highlighted area, because you cannot be setting the face with lighter concealer. You cannot be setting concealing the highlighted area with a lighter concealer. Then you come to setting powder, you go and start using a darker one. So you have to use the same shade. So after applying my setting powder, see on my powder palette, I'll look for the shade which is like the setting powder shade, and just apply again around the highlighted area. So if you have a compact powder, you could use. I'm using my powder for my V Beauty powder palette. Can you see, with the aid of my fluffy brush, I just apply. So when setting the face, we're using one layer of a setting powder. Remember, one layer. Don't go and take a generous quantity of a setting powder and start setting the face. No, that's baking. So to fill the blank spaces that are setting the rest of the face, I'm using my powder from my Beauty powder palette, which is equivalent to her skin tone, right, for the rest of the face. So I just apply it uniformly on the blank spaces. So after that, remember, for makeup, everything you use cream, you have to use powder. So I'm going again to powder contour, which I'm applying around the under of the cheekbone, the temple, and the side of the nose. So to do that, I'm still going in with my powder for my V Beauty powder palette, which is just like the shade of the contour I used before, the cream contour I used before. So for the nose contour, make sure you use an angle brush. Sorry, an angle brush. That is a small fluffy angle brush to do that. Yeah, because if you use a big fluffy angle brush, you just distribute it all over. You want just that particular, just the side of the nose to be contour, to make the nose smaller and pointed. So I'm doing cream contour and powder contour because I want my makeup to be well defined. After that, I use my Kiss Beauty setting spray to melt down the powder effect. Then I apply to bake the face. I still use my Mirac setting powder again in the shade Ginger. So I left a generous quantity around the under eye, such that every moisture around that area can be absorbed, and in order for the excess eyeshadow fallout to be easily taken off, right? So for the brows, as most of you already know, before I start drawing the brows, I first of all begin by laying down the hair using my brows pomade from Nikki Signature, right? You can use any brows gel, or if you don't have, you can use even your edge controller, but make sure it shouldn't be the one that contains a lot of oil. So after laying down the hair using my brows gel, or yeah, then you go in with the apply your setting powder again on that area in order to get rid of any moisture and any oil. So after that, you dust it off using a fluffy brush. Then to outline, I use my brows pomade from K Arrow Makeup with the aid of an angle brush to produce the outline. So I usually start from the bottom. When I'm outlining, when going towards the end, I just tilt downward. Then when I go to the top again, you don't start from the beginning. Can you see how I'm doing? I didn't start from the beginning because we don't want any harsh. I want that area to look natural. So when I'm getting towards the end again, I just tilt downward again to make sure I link the 2 points together. So to fill in the brows, I use the Davis pencil in the shade 003. So can you see how I'm doing? I'm producing tiny hair-like stroke, filling just the gap with less hair. So the area which is being have hair, I just do just a little touch up. We don't want it to be too dark, right? So we are concentrating on the gap, the area with less hair. We are producing tiny hair-like stroke, which look like hair, right? So you do that right to the end, and make sure your pencil should be well sharpened. Can you see I was just changing the pencils? I didn't use one pencil throughout. So to conceal, I'm using this angle brush from KB. I'm using an angle brush and a flat brush from KB. So can you see I use that concealer and a foundation. So at the beginning of the brows, I use my foundation, which is one shade darker than her skin, because I don't want any harsh line around that area. So after that, I switched it on to continue the rest. I went in with a lighter concealer, which is a spotless concealer. So after concealing, I use my fluffy brush again to blend in that area. So to do the upper section, I still went in with the same foundation I used for the beginning of the brows. So after doing that concealing again, you blend in the excess foundation and concealer. Then you now apply the same shade of powder which you use in concealing. So for the beginning, you apply a darker powder, which is one shade darker than your skin, and then for the end, you apply a lighter powder. So guys, I'll not continue with the voiceover. I'll just put the background music. I'm not feeling where you can hear it from my voice. So just continue enjoying your video. If you have any comments, let me know at the comment section. So guys, we have come to the end of the video. What do you think about the look? Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. Bye. See you all. Mwah.